Yo, my people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief,
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
and I got the ABMNT shirt on. So y'all go to the website and get some ABMNT merch. You
I got
dig?
the hoodie on. You see
I got a
me?
blue one. That was my blue one, but I gave it to you, Prentice. I sold it to you. I never ordered me another one.
Yo,
Do what
bad.
you want.
Definitely not bad.
I be rocking this shit.
Word. What's good, fellas? How y'all do? How y'all feeling? How you living? It's good to see y'all boys, man. I got compliments today for us continuing to put episodes out. They was like, I'm 3 episodes behind y'all pushing them so fast. I'm like, oh, that's what's up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So let's keep doing what we do. P, what's
Turn your mic down slightly, Chief, just like a hair, or you might just be
Yeah. Nah, I'm all up on the joint. Yeah,
That's
that better.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That better.
Yeah, it's better.
All right. P, what's good? Check in. P, how you feeling?
Shit, man, I'm cool. Just got back from Canada. Had some shows and did some work out there, man. In Toronto. Shout out to Toronto, man. I had a great ass time. I ended up,
Yo, I can't wait to go, man.
bruh, I had a great ass time, man. I ended up at. I thought it was just gonna be this like '90s Jamaican dance hall party. Turned out to be like 3,000 Caribbean folks in that spot until like 4 in the morning, man. Just I had a great time. I was out there dolo too.
I was about to say, man, a '90s dance hall spot wouldn't be bad either, though. If it was just
At
90s,
all. It was
if
it
it
was
was
great, man. So the show's
Pondy
been
River,
cool.
Pondy Boat.
All that shit, all that shit. I was like, yeah, I don't understand what y'all niggas are saying, but I love this music. So that was
Oh,
dope. The show was
speaking of,
cool.
hold on. Did y'all see the clip a while ago about the 90s reggae with the was it action or was Murder She Wrote? Was it about abortion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did see that
So that
recently.
shit was wild. I didn't know that. I was we were singing that joint back then. I didn't know nothing about it till 2 days ago.
The shit
Loud and
we used
proud, man.
to sing when we was
Word.
little, we shouldn't have been.
Niggas grinding to that song at night with a chick, hoping they don't end up in that same position. The irony.
Not even knowing. Not even
Right.
knowing what they're talking about.
No clue. So the show was cool. Shout out to Dwayne Morgan, poet out there who puts on the show called When Brothers Speak. This was a 26th annual one. So this is his 26th year putting on this event. The people in Toronto are amazing, man. They was full of love. Killed the show. So that was good. Um my uncle passed. My dad has 6 brothers. So I got 6 uncles. My the last one outside of my dad, he passed away yesterday, my Uncle Pete. So shout out to him, man. So I called my dad today to kind of just, check on him and see how he was doing. And he appreciated that. So, that was cool. Still, tapping in with him and that's going well. Um
So
Kids are straight. Yeah, back home, man. Back at it, man. I'm motivated, so everything is good.
How long were you
Yeah.
gone?
4 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was some solid time out there, man. So I got to just roam. So it was cool. But
You
yeah,
been to Toronto, Chief? Turn the TV off, yo.
never been to Toronto, but I did meet a bad joint from out there a while ago. Shorty was fire, but no, I never been out there.
I heard nothing but good things. I've been to Montreal and I've been to Windsor, but Windsor ain't nothing to like. That ain't nothing to brag about. Like I took a city bus from Detroit to Windsor, um, which is crazy, man. Being in the U.S. in Detroit specifically and seeing another country across the bridge, like that trips me out even to this day. To like be able to see a different country is crazy. Um, that's what's up.
Bell, what's
Yeah.
good
You want me?
with you though, B?
You want me to go?
Yeah, Bell, check in. What's happening?
Um, I'm good, man. I'm in rehab for my knee. That's going fine. A lot of travel. I went to Black Stars last week in New York City. 30 Black Stars. It was dope. Really dope event. My company was one of the sponsors, so we had an intimate luncheon We got a lot of folks. That's where I met Aaron. I don't know if I text you, Prentice. I definitely text you.
No, you didn't. And I had hit him, but you did meet him.
Yeah. He came
Cool.
to our luncheon. Yeah, he came to our luncheon. We chopped it up. We exchanged phone numbers.
Good.
And I'm gonna be at Afrotech. So by this time, when this drops, I'll be at Afrotech. So if anybody in Houston hit me up, I'll be out there for a few. But he's
I
speaking at.
did. I don't mean to cut you off. I did hit him though, just to let you. I hit him a
No, he
couple of
told
times,
me.
but
Yeah,
okay.
he told me. I had I told him about both of y'all, and then and anyway, he was wild cool. We supposed to be getting coffee in Houston.
Cool.
But he doing a lot of traveling. But he got like a Pinnacle Award or something to that effect. He's a big deal. It was dope. But so New York was fun. Spent some time with the team. Work is busy. Travel, man. I'm traveling for the next 2 weeks. Um, yeah. What else? That's really it, man.
You
I ain't
tell the
really.
nephew pass his belt test, B?
Yeah, I did that on the last one. Remember, you was like, did he break the board or whatever?
I thought that was us on the phone. But
Mm-mm. It might have been both, but it was definitely on here. I was telling Chief I got inspired, man. Like, I won't disclose too much, but it was a story that was being told, and and it was the story.
remix.
This the story just hit hard because it's like it just raised your expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like you thought it was one thing, and then you was like, "Yo, I never even thought to ask if it could go that high." You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, that's what's up. Like that it really like kind of let me know that we all playing small. You know what I'm saying? Like we all playing small, man. And for one reason or another, we just do it. And it helped me understand that there's levels. You know what I'm saying? There's levels. And there could be people right next to you that are on some of those levels and you wouldn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't ask the right questions. So inspiring week nonetheless, man. Seeing people who look like us be celebrated. It was cool. It was dope. It was dope.
It's definitely what's up. For me, fella, I spent the weekend in Jersey. My shorties had a softball tournament. Uh, they did well. Went out there. They finally got out of that hitting slump, and got some swings in. It was pretty cool to see. It was just good to get away and just spend some time with the girls. Um, I can't front, yo. This Grammy thing has kind of like lit a different energy in me. Like I done reached out to about 4 different people. I got some Zoom conferences set up just in terms of like helping myself put a plan together to kind of chase those levels Bell mentioned just now. Like enough playing small and doing just enough, and you know what I'm saying? Like in my head, like what I heard was Chief, you ain't shit. You ain't these niggas. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, but
What you talking
in
about?
the,
When the nominations came out
yeah,
the other day?
yeah, you ain't
Yeah,
you ain't
you
you,
didn't even you gotta explain to the people what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
did we not talk about it last week or no?
The
It
nominations
just
just happened
came out
2 days
on
ago.
Oh,
Friday.
right. So I put in for the Grammy Award and didn't get nominated this year. And the nominees, for the most part, were some pretty marquee names in the industry. And there's been some some skepticism going around about how the Grammys are voted on or whatever. Nonetheless, congratulations to the nominees and all that. But it was just kind of like, yo, don't complain, level up, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It was like, don't complain or don't, you know what I mean? Like if you want to get nominated and put in the work. And I was content. That's a good word. I was pleased with the work that I did. I had a plan. I followed it. I did what I was supposed to do, but it still wasn't enough. And it's like, okay, if you want to get there, then you really gotta take it a step further. You gotta hit a different level. And for me, it's not just about the Grammy now. Like it's just my life in general. Be like just kind of playing small, playing comfortable, and just the fact that we've had these conversations on the podcast, but like stepping out of my comfort zone and literally saying, "Yo, can you help me?" Is something I haven't done, and I've reached out to from right now 4 different people that I have meetings with on Monday. Got 3 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, to kind of like help me organize, get my mind right, get my plan set, and move forward, and just kind of see where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to do, and line it up and make some things happen. So, and this again, it's not just about the Grammy; it's about life in general. But I really feel motivated for more, and I think it took this L. And it wasn't really it was the L. It wasn't the L, because when I didn't hear my name called, I wasn't like bummed at all. And then something along the lines like, yo, get it together, bro. And so that's where I'm at right now, fellas. I'm like, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna document this journey. Like I'm gonna document this whole journey from now until I get where I want to be, and then we can revisit the conversation. But for lack of a better term, this is a way for everybody to hold me accountable and to say, watch me work, because it's about to go.
What do you want that to look like, though?
It's going to look like several things. So I it's first of all about my job. Like, again, even that one, playing small, like just where areas to level up in that regard, whether it be looking for the principalship or just letting it go completely and diving full head of steam into it. But it's all going to be, I'm in the process right now of I gotta, writing my notes down, writing my objectives down, putting the goals down, and it's gonna start executing, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the accountability. What do you want the accountability to look like?
I mean, even if it's just check-ins. Well, once I got my plan, I can kind of share more of that with you guys. Yo, where you at? This is where you're supposed to be at this point. Like, set the plan, set some short-term goals in between, and just keep hitting my marks, bro.
So, just some framework for you that could help you when you're creating a plan. It's objective, right? So, whatever the desired outcome is, path or plan on which to get it accomplished, time frame to which to get it accomplished, and then consequence or reward. So that's where the accountability can come in too. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the reward? The reward is, right, you'll be living your, I mean, I don't want to say what the reward is, put words in your mouth, but the way I look at it, even if you don't make an extra dollar, like say you make the same amount of money that you make now, you'll be doing what you love. You know what I'm saying? Which is a win. And you have more freedom to do the things that you love. And you begin paid for your passion, which I think is, you can't put a dollar on that, in my opinion.
And the crazy part is, like, I'm passionate about what I do. I really do love what I do. I love working with these kids. I love being able to impart, on their lives and whatnot. But it's just like we called for more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we called for more, bro. And there's nothing about.
So to your original point, it's like whether you do one passion all the way to the finish line, which in the education realm will be a principal, assistant principal, something like that, which you have the credentials for, or you take the spoken word passion to the pinnacle, right? Like I personally don't believe you can live in both spaces successfully. Like, I think if you go full steam ahead with education, then you'll pick up your low gigs here and there, and then that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? But if you go full steam in education, and spoken word, then you're not going to be able to be a principal, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out what makes the most sense, what has the most longevity, and how uncomfortable are you willing to be? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
That's where, and that's honestly what I've been processing over the past couple of days since this announcement. Is like, yo, stop making excuses. Stop hiding in your comfort zone, and really step out there. And my first step was, again, remember how I told you I went when I waited for Charlemagne to come outside? Like that, I think that was like a good step for me. Like, waiting.
What's the follow-up been since then?
I haven't had anything. I've emailed twice now, so waiting.
Okay, so you followed up. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so
I'm just, because there's one thing to be uncomfortable in a moment, but then to not do anything about it, then that discomfort would have been in vain. So you're doing what you're supposed to do.
So I emailed it, and again with the connect that all supposed to have all Scott for us. That might be another way to kind of
bridge the gap.
Bridge the gap. Yeah. So it's moving, bro. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm even thinking about, like, as far as like recreating training wheels into like some sort of like a musical type thing. Like
I
really,
mean, to your point, man, sky's the limit.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I think without the job, like the W-2 job, that you have limitless creative potential.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You have more time to do that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. I got P heard a little bit of the conversation before we got on. I also got a couple connects for us too that might be really, really good for us to get some speaking engagements going down. So that might be cool too with some pretty, some pretty marquee names. So
Dope.
I'm excited about that. Keep that on the wraps till we get it, till we get it right. But yeah, it's gonna be some good shits coming out all of our ways for
That's
sure.
what you was talking about, the Atlanta thing on the call earlier.
Well, that's one of the things too. But that
Yeah,
that was just if Shorty's out there, we can connect. Remember, because old boy be out there too. When
yeah,
it,
we'll talk about that. I'm not sure
yeah,
exactly what I'm talking
yeah,
about, but oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, okay, something we can do.
yeah,
Something we talk about.
yeah. And it's a couple more people we talked about in the past that are out there. We can make a run of it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll figure it out when the time comes. But nevertheless, P, what we getting into today, P?
Perfect segue, man. Today's episode is entitled "Who Are You
Wait,
Doing This?"
wait. Sorry, I forgot. I want to go back to this. Restating our mission, right? So we've been around for 4 years now, and a lot of times when we get on this, we just start going like we about to do right now. More often than not, it's stuff that's been on our spirit, but we just want to reiterate why we started this, right? We started this podcast to create a safe space for people who look like us and men in general to feel comfortable expressing their emotions because these are trying times, and we understand that leaving things bottled up will not end well for any of us. So I want to just make sure, and that's my bad. I'm going to make sure I start putting that in on all the treatments. Or Chief, maybe you can even make it a little pop up joint or something. But I want to make sure we continue to restate our mission every
you
chance we get.
you want me to take it from our binder and then just take the exact words and put it in? I could do that for sure.
Yeah, the exact words. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then moving forward, we can just whoever's treatment it is, we could just be sure to kind of add that before we can get right into the
Yeah.
episode.
Put on the
Absolutely.
template. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So what Bell said, that's why we started this. But it's I think it's a good segue talking about what you were just talking about, Chief, about how you're motivated after the Grammys, and I'm glad to hear that because I think that's why I've been quiet for the last year, honestly, is because I was so motivated by it that I understand that the next thing I do has to be at that level, if not higher. And I'm not willing to put out any work just to remain relevant. I'm not willing to put out any work just to keep the nomination title in people's heads because it's forever going to be there. But I'm really glad that it did motivate you because I guarantee if you did what you did for this campaign on a regular for your career,
Hmm.
things have to change. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So that's dope.
I
Which goes
appreciate
into
that,
our,
bro.
our episode of the yeah, no problem. Entire this episode, who are you doing it for? And I was thinking about how obviously all this shit usually comes from some shit I'm going through. But this is not what I'm necessarily going through, but something that I just kind of identified in myself and I wanted to pick you guys' brains on it. As we get older, as we evolve, we get into relationships, we get out of relationships, we have children. Um, our motivation changes. And I think for us as black men, I wonder, and I don't hear about this a lot because I hear about like what motivates us, but I don't hear about conversations about when your motivation changes. You know what I mean? Like I noticed that for me, it's switched up. Some of the things that motivated me before, they simply just aren't motivational factors for me anymore. And sometimes um I find myself questioning or just assessing the fact that things are changing for me. And if I reflect back on certain things or people that inspired me to keep going or encouraged me to keep going or were my motivational factors or forces, some of those things and people aren't motivational forces anymore. And I find myself wondering, am I wrong for that? Is there something wrong with me? Is that okay that these things don't motivate me? It doesn't mean that they don't matter in my life anymore, but they just don't do for me what they used to do. And what does this mean for me? So um I wanted to ask you guys initially, what do you do when you find yourself no longer motivated by the things that previously kept you going? And have you guys experienced that? You know what I mean? Like, is this a question that if I ask you guys, it's gonna take a minute for you to think, and you can't respond right away? You know what I mean? But how do y'all have you guys dealt with that? And if so, what do you do?
Chief, you want to go first? Since
Nope.
it's
I want you to go first. I was just
um, so I have a couple examples of this, Prentice, and this is a good. I saw the treatment name, but I didn't open it, so I'm glad we're going here. But I'll start by saying, um, this as a baseline. Satisfied needs don't motivate, right? Satisfied needs don't motivate. So, and I'm just going to use an example. Actually, I'll just use my own personal example. So, one of the biggest reasons why I want to go to NFL, right? One of the biggest reasons why I want to go to NFL was to buy my mom a house, right? My mom's never owned a house before. I want to buy her a house. And the NFL obviously didn't work out, but I still had these goals. So I was able to buy her house when I was 23. And by me doing that, the desire to like keep fighting to make it to the league just wasn't there for me anymore.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the main reason why I wanted to go was I was motivated by the league because I wanted to buy my mom a house. But the league no longer motivated me because one, I wasn't in it, right? Like I didn't make it. One, two, I didn't feel inclined to keep trying because one of the biggest motivational factors was this house that I just bought. So I'm like, that's not it for me anymore. And then in my next goal was to, retire my parents early. And this one really hit me because I would say probably about 5-6 years ago, I backed off that because I'm like, there's a number of factors that I don't necessarily want to get into today, but in short, it was like I realized that my efforts were better served directed towards my family than to my parents who didn't need me to retire them. It would have been a nice to have, but they didn't need me to retire them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? But those efforts that I was putting forth for with them in mind would be better served to my kids, my wife, right? Like that's kind of that's the conclusion I came to. So those are two instances where things motivated me and then life changed and then it no longer did. But it's not like I didn't want, like I still wanted the same outcomes, but the means in which to get them, that was what changed for me. If that makes sense. Is that what you were asking, or did I go off the rails?
No. I think that's perfect. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for y'all, but that's good. What about you, Chief?
give me the exact question again. What, like, basically,
What
who
do
am I
you
doing?
do when you find yourself no longer motivated by the things that kept you going, or that keep you going, or keep you motivated? And examples are even better. That's why I like Bell's, like, because I think we all are gonna have a different something example that comes in our head. So if you have something specifically you can think of, for context purposes, I think it make it even more insightful.
Nothing I can think of offhand right now, but I think oftentimes what happens is,
Wait, I got things we can talk about with you.
okay, well, let me answer.
Well, you said nothing comes to mind. I'm just making sure you know I have an example for you.
Okay, well, okay, hold that thought then. What I was gonna say is I think oftentimes what happens is the goal changes, therefore the motivation behind the goal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes like the goal shifts, or you keep, as you continue to keep chasing, like the motivation becomes different now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could say, you know, my kids and blah 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 blah, but it's like no matter it depends on what it is that I'm chasing, and the motivation behind it now feels a little bit different, I guess. For example, it could be one of them things where, like, let's just say it was like people trying to lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you losing weight because you want to be more healthy. You're losing weight because you got a wedding coming up. You know what I'm saying? You're losing weight because the doctor said some shit is. You know what I'm saying? I think the goal is still to lose weight, but I think the motivation behind it becomes a little bit different in some cases. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, it tends to shift a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. I never really thought about it like that, because it does shift a lot.
So I guess what Prentice is asking, and I would be curious to see, and this is just a simple, silly example, but what was your motivation to get your master's?
It was more, I initially started as a pursuit of the my administration certification.
So then what changed?
Bumps in the road, that when I learned that how challenging it would be via the state of Connecticut to get that certification, and then it became about my kids.
What do you mean?
So like being able to walk across that stage and my kids see me. Like
What's your master's, not necessarily your 092.
Yeah, my master. It was the graduation of, like, I still remember the sound of my kids' voices in the recording when they call my name to walk across the stage. You know what I'm saying? And that meant the world to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like I think in going through it, it was all about trying to get this 092, the admin certification. And then when I ran into some bumps in the road, it was like, well, you know what? Your kids will still be proud of you. Like, do this for them.
Perfect.
So my motivation changed.
But you still got it though.
Yeah. But I'm saying the motivation changed.
Right. But what was the motivation to get the 092? Because you still got it.
Oh, so I thought you were talking about the master still.
Well, when I said masters, that's what I really meant. My bad.
Yeah. Well, not
because you couldn't get the 092 without the masters.
Without the masters, right.
So,
go ahead, P.
Oh, if you got more, go ahead. But I was about to.
I lost my train of thought.
It was taking my next question.
My question. Wait, before we did, my question was, because I'm trying to get a better understanding of how this shows up for you. So, what changed from wanting to get the 092, or what was the motivation to get the 092, and has that changed? Maybe that's the better way to ask the question.
So it was two things. It was about making some more money, but it was also about the impact I could have. Like I think the impact is greater when you're in a principal role versus
your leadership role. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, versus a dean role. Like I think being able to do what I do at a bigger level with a bigger title in that regard in the school makes that much more of a difference for the kids. Like, because think about it, bro. There ain't many.
See, I would argue different, bro. I would argue that you have more interaction with those kids. I'm only using, the high school setting. You have more interaction with those kids than your boss did, and then her boss,
Yes.
and her boss did. You know what I'm saying?
But being at the principal level, now I can implement structure and processes that go into helping these kids build, like little things. For example, like I remember,
indirectly.
I remember specifically, like we had a thing. It was called Capturing Kids' Hearts, where we did it for like 3 months, bro. Every teacher, every period, had to get their asses out, stand in the hallway, and greet their students as they come in, high five, shake hands, say hello, whatever. Everybody's in the hallway. The problems in the hallway slowed down. The kids were happier and it felt like they were included in, like the kids felt, people cared. Like it just showed a process of caring. You know what I'm saying? And we did it for like 3 months, and every statistic that was negative in the building declined. And then the shit just kind of drifted away. And we're back to the same old. But just those three months of like being consistent, showing kids.
And that was implemented by one of the principals?
That was a grant first team we brought in that did their thing or whatever. But it really started to shift. It started to shift and shape the culture. Like as a principal, I'm going to listen. I want everybody in the hallway. I don't care what you got, what homework you got to do, what grades you got to put in. Get in the hallway when these kids come and greet them as they walk into your classroom. I've seen it impact a building in a great way. The morale started to change in the building because the kids felt like the teachers cared by something that simple.
So do you no longer want to do that?
No, I do. I just, I'm not the one who they'll listen to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? But being the principal, being one of the leaders in the building, let's give this a shot, and we're gonna stay consistent through this, and we're gonna hold each other accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable, and this is what's gonna happen. And watch how it changes the dynamics of the building. Little things like that can make an immense impact in the building.
Right. I think for me, what really sparked this was September of last year when I sent Justice back to his mom.
That was a year ago, bro.
That was a year ago. That was August 31st, 2023, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been over a year. And the reason why that was such a pivotal moment is because my whole, it was 15, my whole 15 years prior to that, I had defined myself mainly off of my relationship with him, but overall just me and fatherhood, right? Like the biggest responsibility I had. And when I had to send him back, I know I had already accomplished getting full custody of him, right? And now I'm sending him back. And I think with the circumstances under which I sent him back, a light bulb popped up in my head, and I was like, I think I've put too much emphasis on my motivational factor being my children and being my kids. Because when I made the decision to send them back and had to, um, in my head, I was like, this isn't good enough. This isn't, it's not, I'm not inspired the same now. Like I don't have the same, my fatherhood can't be what I base how motivated I am to achieve and succeed, because things can happen that shake the core of that and the foundation of that, and that make me question that. So damn, what do I do? And do I take it away and look at it? And these are just honest questions I had in my head. Like, does my motivation not lean towards one kid due to this issue and stay with these other three? That don't feel right. That don't necessarily sound right. Or do I have to look at it overall and be like, okay, maybe you need to figure out what else motivates you. You know what I mean? Like what else inspires you to accomplish some things. And so I think it's perfect that you addressed what you addressed, because my second question was going to be, should family be our main source of motivation? You know what I mean? Should your kids, should your family be the main source of motivation? Because for me, I'm finding things that don't have to do with my family to be more motivating at times than them. And that's when I come into play the comment about questioning, okay, so am I looking at this right? Am I approaching this situation right? Is something wrong with me that they're not, these people who live in this house with me that I love dearly are not the number one motivational force, you know what I mean? And why am I looking elsewhere? Why am I going other places? But I feel like I'm on the right track. So I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all go through that? Or do you think family should be the number one motivational force? Because that's always what people use as their kind of leading source of motivation who are in our positions, especially as fathers and husbands.
You take this one, Chief.
So there's a lot of different things that played in my head as you were talking, and I think for me, again, the goal, whatever the goal is, I think can be contingent on how much your family motivates you to chase that goal. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In addition, I think the amount of pressure, I don't know if the word pressure is a good word, we put on ourselves to exemplify good fathers and be good dads, I think that's overwhelming for us at times. And that pressure we put on ourselves is, I think, what I guess intrinsically makes our kids the motivation. Am I making sense? So like when you were talking, P, I'm thinking I wanted to like salute you because you processed it and you gave yourself hella grace and you allowed it to shape to take place as it did. I would have, I mean, maybe you are, but I'd have still been kicking myself in the ass about that.
About
And,
what?
and about just, you know, having to send just back. And I'd have been like,
Oh,
I'd have been questioning me the whole time. Like, I
really?
mean, yeah, what could I have done differently? Where did I go wrong? Like, I would have been kicking my own ass, bro. Still, maybe not because we've had some conversations about it and whatnot, but I would have taken it personal. It'd been all about me. It had no reflection on anybody else but me. And you've allowed yourself to process and go, yo, I did what I did. And you've talked about how you've romanticized different things and yada yada yada. But I don't say that in the disrespectful, like yada yada. But I'm just saying, like, you've talked about that, and you've given yourself the grace and kind of accepted accountability, but also understood your role in that. And I think I would have still been beating myself up about it.
Got you, bro.
Here's my thought with that. It's exactly what you just said, Chief, earlier. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I think family is always going to be motivation, but I think the motivation will be different. Like, I think you're always going to be motivated to take care of your family, but you can take care of your family not living your best life.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, Chief, what you just said earlier, my kids would have been happy regardless. And that is the scapegoat. And again, it's like, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just how we're wired. So, like, Chase is living his best life, bro. Like, he ain't worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not worried about nothing. Like, Brianna, she made this joke the other day. She was like, it was a meme. And it was a two siblings, big age gap, and basically it was something to the effect of, I wish my parents were rich when they were raising me, like they're raising him, right? Or her new sibling. And then she sent it to me. I'm like, yo, let's not get it twisted, girl. Like, you lived in a 3,400 square foot house with an in-ground swimming pool. Like, what are we talking about? She's like, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so she had everything she needed growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's always lived in a house. Like, she's always, I mean, she saw her first roach the other day. You know what I mean? So, like, that's so from a family motivational standpoint, I've done what I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking care of my family. You all have done what you're supposed to do. And even if you're not in the right place or the best place, right, for you financially or spiritually, whatever, you're still gonna find a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you will let yourself down before you let your kids down. So the thing about family motivation for me is family's not gonna set this high bar for you unless the caveat is unless you come from a wealthy family, right? If you come from a wealthy family,
I see where you're
then
going.
the bar is extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have an expectation, but for the most part, we're all doing as well, if not better, than our parents, and in a lot of cases, anybody in our family. So, what is your motivation? You could always lean on the fact that, hey, I'm doing all right compared to Uncle Tony. I'm doing all right compared to my mom. I'm doing, like, my kids are all right. Like, I live in this, I do that, I got that. You can always convince yourself of that, right? Like, that's what Chief is potentially going through right now. Like, he's at a pivotal point where he's like, I'm tired of being enough. Like, so I need to do something different so I can raise the bar. Now, here's the reality. Here's why we won't do it. Because when we make that pivot, all hell's gonna break loose.
Mm-hmm.
All hell's gonna break loose. Your motherfucking you're gonna get a flat tire, your rim gonna bend in the process, you're gonna get to the tire shop, they're gonna arrest you for theft, right? Because they're gonna say, you stole this tire from here. No, I didn't. I just got here. Yes, you did. You're going to jail, right? Then he's like, well, I gotta work, get bonded out, right? So it's like all this stuff is gonna happen. And then what's gonna happen is that family motivation, oh, I can't do this to my family. I can't
That's
do
what's
this to my
gonna kick
family.
you in.
I can't be broke. I got to go back to getting a job.
Mm.
That's what's going to happen. But that's what
So
I'm saying. It's for me, it's more than, it's like, I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's no longer motivating me because I know, and I know for you guys, no matter what happens to me, no matter what my title is, they're going to be all right. I'm going to
yes.
make sure of that. You know what I'm
So
saying?
it sounds like it may be better, like listening to you speak. It sounds like it may be better for you to have like pockets of motivation, like different pockets you could reach into for different times. And I think like listening to that, I think I'm realizing how much I place my eggs in one basket as far as a source of motivation comes for me. You know what I mean? Like it's as long as I can remember, it's been being a father, and I'm 16 years deep into being a dad. Prior to that, I was doing what the fuck I wanted. I don't know what was motivating me. I really can't tell you. And so I'm wondering for everybody listening, especially because I think about our listeners all the time, and I think about the different demographic of brothers who reach out to us and hit us up, and that I've met. Some are doing extremely well. Some are not. There was a cat actually, and I should have, I don't remember his name, so forgive me. After the show in Toronto, he didn't say good show. He kept up and was like, man, I fucking love listening to y'all every week on the podcast. He didn't say nothing about the performance. And I was just like, yo, that's so you should have, man, you said everything but the show. You should have said something about the show, you know, and he talked to me a little bit. But I think about the different dynamics that they come from, and some of them are really accomplished by now. And there's a lot of them who are still struggling right now. And I think um there's a lot of brothers who are struggling with finding out where their source of motivation is, and they have a hard time letting go of what their source once was to find something new out of fear of disappointing that source or letting that source down. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you
No,
feel there's
but
in
let's pause for 1 second though, bro. We spoke about this. Um, Chief, you and I spoke about. No, I'm sorry. It's shout out. I'm hosting another podcast called Husky's Health, and we were talking about on there. Everything you said, Prentice, is about somebody else. Everything you
right?
just said, like you know what
But
I'm saying.
my
So
question though,
go ahead, ask your question.
go ahead, finish.
All I was gonna say is it comes back to forget about motivation for a second, right? It comes back to purpose, right? Like, what is your purpose? Your purpose isn't only to take care of your kids, because no matter what you do, you will take care of your kids, right? That is playing. You talk about playing small, like that's playing very small.
Right.
You know
So
what I'm
my
saying? So like your purpose has to be greater than you. Like it has to be bigger.
so my question where I was going is there a certain point in time, or what do you guys how do you guys feel on the idea, like is there a point in time where you're being selfish when you prioritize your personal wants and needs over those of the ones you care about? Not everybody has kids, not everybody has a wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there a certain point in time where you're being selfish because of that? And do you guys think that a certain level of selfishness is needed in order to remain motivated?
Yeah.
And I'm asking because I feel like there's brothers who go through this shit who listen to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like they
I
don't.
think
Go ahead.
I think I'm walking into that right now, bro. Like legitimate, like, and selfish seems a bit aggressive to me, but I mean, it's the reality of what it's going to be.
Why though?
No,
Why?
I'm saying because it's just not how I function and operate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the approach I'm taking. If I could find a better word, I'd rather use that, but that's what it's going to have to be.
And
It's going
that's
to have
my
to be.
thing. Why does it need to? Because I know where you're at. I know where you're at because I was there.
Mhm.
Why do you need a better word than selfish?
Because I care too much. Because I don't
Care
want
care too much for who?
for my people. Because I don't want to ever be. I don't want to be viewed as the one who let the people down, let somebody down. But the reality is, like, I have to do what I got to do, and
But
it's gonna take, it's gonna require that selfishness in order to achieve these goals that I set for me, that I'm motivating me. It's not about
Said
anybody else, it's about them kids, none of that.
said another way, I'm okay with letting myself down to help everybody else achieve their goals.
Mhm.
No, because that's not where I'm at right now. But I think that's what
Not
I'm
where you
getting
at.
at.
Not exactly. Not where you
Yeah,
at right now. I'm not speaking for now, but
yeah.
I'm saying you're worried about how selfish sounds.
Mhm.
How does that sound?
No, yeah. And I think that's the reality. Again, man, I've been doing a lot of like reflecting and plotting and planning in my mind. It's like, listen, man, like enough is enough, bro. And I don't know. I wish I could say it was something outside of this Grammy that like that helped the switch flip. But if that's what it was, and that's what it was. But I just feel like, you know what I mean? Like I hear you, Bell, talking about like I feel like I'm called, I'm called for more. Like in that conversation when we had a while ago, you were saying, and P, like I hear you just talking about how like how your motivation has changed and how you've shifted. And it's like I feel I'm at peace now. I don't care about competing or catering nobody else. Like I'm doing me. And I and it's just I'm just in that space where I have to tackle that selfishness, and I've now come to terms with accepting that it is what it is, rather than trying to fight it and still trying to play both sides of the fence.
Man,
I
listen.
think I think when we have like these pivotal moments in our life in correlation to motivation, it almost forces ourselves to redefine the idea of selfishness. You know what I'm saying? Like when we
100%.
challenge different goals, like you have no choice but to look at it differently if you're going to do something different. And right now, I can 100% say my kids are not my motivation. They're not. They're not my motivation. I love them. And like you said, Bill, like it was a great ass point. I'm always gonna do whatever the fuck I need to make sure they're okay.
Yep.
I'm always gonna we all three of us are always gonna do whatever literally to make sure they're cool. So in my head I'm like, how important is it that they are my main source of motivation, especially when I've experienced my main source of motivation letting me down, and the way it let me down was the light switch for me to say, oh no, I can't place my motivational source in other people, regardless of who they are. And so with that switch, it's forced me to identify my definition of selfish. Because so far, since I've redefined it, this selfishness that I'm practicing is benefiting everybody around me, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen here. That's so two things I'll say. Inspiration's an inside job. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's an inside job. Like you said, Chief, it wasn't you don't know what happened, but something in you. Got nothing to do with your family. Your
Mhm.
family ain't make you feel less than. In fact, I would argue that our family can sometimes help us be complacent. I would argue that. I would
Mm-hmm.
argue
That's fair.
because the more you stay exactly where you are, the more comfortable they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, right? Chief, I promise you what's going to happen is you're going to start saying no more, right? Which I suggest you do. And people are going to feel away, but then they'll figure it out, right? And then that will then now free you up to do what you need to do, right? But if you don't go strive for more, their resource is intact.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I promise you, man, like once I started creating boundaries, bro, man, listen, life started flourishing. Started flourishing. Because people won't even call me for shit no more. Like when I tell you they won't call me for shit, they won't call me for shit. Like it's just understood. Like, nah, I'm not gonna bother him with that. And that's like because in a lot of cases, we're the um we're the North Star in a lot of cases. Right? We're the ones that people are trying to follow in our families, is what I'm saying. Like we're the ones people are trying to follow. But in the process of them following us, if we want to just use this example, they're tugging on our shirt to stop me or us from going north to get something done that they need to get done that's behind us. You see what I'm saying? So that slows the progress of everybody down. Everybody.
It's so different for me because I don't hold that position, and I listen to y'all talk, and I know
You
both of y'all.
do
So
though. You do though hold that position. And I can
people
explain to
don't.
you in a second. I'll explain to you in a second.
In my mind, people don't. What people come to me for doesn't exhaust me to give. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't reach out to me for things that I find myself extremely inconvenienced for, or ask for something often enough for me to be like, I gotta stop this. You know what I mean? Like I don't have anything like that. So when I listen to y'all talk about being in those positions, I kind of assess where the whole idea of boundaries and things come in for me.
I'm gonna tell both of y'all because y'all both suffer from the same thing. I used to suffer from I'm not emotionally available in most cases, right? You guys are. So Prentice, two things I'll say. One, who's the man of your house?
Me.
You. So naturally Sarai's following you.
Hmm.
Right? Whether it's explicitly said or understood, she's following you. Right? You're the leader in your house. That's one. Two, I think there's a certain level of gratitude that comes from you two both being emotionally available for people, like it did for me to be financially available for people.
I get what you're saying. Fuck, that was a light bulb. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That
Like
was a
that's
big ass light bulb.
so for you, you're not looking at it like, oh, this is taken away from my progress because you're finding value in that. But meanwhile, you're now inheriting somebody else's emotional baggage.
And I just said to myself, uh, probably 2 weeks ago with a specific friend, and then I noticed this trend. I got some people who I say are really close to me, but all of our conversations consist of what they're going through and me giving them positive feedback. I just realized that, and I've been talking to them less over the last couple of weeks. It's hella funny that you say that because our whole relationship is based upon whatever they're going through that's heavy or hard, and me encouraging them, giving them enlightening things. And I found myself saying, damn, I don't really want to do this no more. I don't want to talk to them. And every time I talk to them, I gotta, hear their problem because I feel like I'm taking some of that with me when we're done with the conversation. And I'm a little bit spent. You know what I mean? So that's a good point.
That's it, bro. Like you're looking at it from the context in which I'm sharing. But my
Mm-hmm.
context, just like I can't relate to that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
People not calling me. Well, people will call me for advice or people will call me for guidance, but ain't nobody calling me to emotionally dump. Ain't nobody doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a
But
lot of weight. That's a lot of weight too, man. You
it's,
get that,
I,
Chief?
I
A lot
would
of people do that with you.
with Chief.
I
Yeah.
mean, so I don't know if people see this, but I'm like a mixture of the both of you in that regard. Like in terms of just how you both think, how we operate, and how we function. Like I'm like a combination of
I can
the
see
both.
that.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, I'm like right in the middle. So I've experienced it on both ends.
Yep.
Do you find yourself drained by people bringing that shit to you?
There's been times where I think I've spoken to you guys about it. I literally was like, yo, I can't even associate with you no more because it's just too much for me.
Yeah, that's with friends. The challenge is when it's family.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would argue. I'm not saying this is a fact, but I would argue if some of the friends did some of the shit your family did, you would say that same thing to them. I would argue that. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I would. Like there's no two ways about it with me. I'm like, look, man, Uncle Duck, I can't keep fucking with you, bro. Like I just don't know what to tell you, man. We still family and all that, but you just can't keep calling me, man, because you want to get high. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's family, so it's a, and this is what I'm saying, man. Like I don't think we understand how conditioned we are. Like how conditioned we are. I don't think we understand how conditioned we are. And the reason why a lot of us can't understand how conditioned we are because we don't ever change our circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't change our circumstances. So we don't know what it's supposed to look like. But we carry a lot as men, as head of household, as providers, as in a lot of cases the golden children for our family. Like there's a lot that we carry. And that shit will hold us back, bro. And they feel comfortable asking this to us because of the levels of success that we've achieved, whether it be perceived or factual. In their mind, we're doing better than shit. In some cases, we're doing better than we are, but in all cases, we're doing better than them from their perception. So, and another thing, and I don't want to. I know I've been talking a long time, but another thing that I was talking to my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Al. We was talking, and he said, "Man, what is happening?" He was speaking specifically for his scenario. He's like, "Man, what you don't even understand is by people doing these things to you, asking you for these things, suggesting these things, this, that, and the third. It's a way to keep you right where you are." He's like, "You don't want to believe that, but these things, whether conscious or unconscious, the things that people are doing to you is going to keep you right where you are, because that's everybody's comfort level." Again, I don't think anybody's doing things with malice. I'm just telling you that that's what the result will be.
I wonder how that applies, because I'm really thinking now about, just how people emotionally dump on me all the time. And I always welcome it because I always want to help and heal.
But
And I wonder,
that's when you find purpose in it. That's what I'm saying.
but I wonder how that keeping you in your place applies in that situation. I'm gonna have to think about that after this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that
Bro,
idea, like you said, with no malice, but I'm really wondering, like, okay, so where does that keep me?
it keeps you at their disposal. They don't have to solve this on their own because they got you.
Yeah, have they? But even then, even to that regard, though, like we've learned in some conversations to be like, "Yo, P, how you doing today? Hey, you got a minute to talk to me? Do you have the capacity to help me out right now? How are you doing?" When is the last time they started off the conversation in that regard?
That never happens.
Right.
Ever.
It's P. What's
Ever.
up?
Or,
Hey, what's up? Long time no see.
Mm-hmm. And I'll entertain the whole.
Right. But there's gonna be those times where you could use that space and they're not offering it to you. They're
And
gonna
that's
call
what I
you.
just.
They're gonna call you when you're in a space, and they're gonna unload on you, and you like, yo, I don't have.
Yeah, and I think now because I'm a lot more healed internally, I realize that a lot of these, now I don't want to say a lot, but some of these interactions and significant friendships or relationships are a really mild form of trauma bonding in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not intentionally releasing my thoughts and feelings, but because they are so much, I find myself inclined to do the same thing. It's kind of like I'm meeting them at the same theme or narrate or narrative of our conversation. You know what I mean?
yeah, you
It's
guys are in
it's
the same space, and you can
yeah.
potentially feel better about yourself by helping them,
Right.
which
Like, you're
just
talking to
takes
me
the
about some
attention
fucked
off
up
you,
shit. I'm not about to be like, well, let me tell you about the time I just had in Toronto, man. I had a fucking ball and they
I
paid me.
see. This
I'm
is,
not gonna do that. I'm meeting them with, you know what, I know how it feels. This just happened to me. Something negative that I
bro,
never even had any intent on manifesting into the universe, that energy, but I find myself doing, I'm realizing this shit as I'm saying it to y'all, but I find myself now spewing out this lower frequency energy just to meet them where they're at with what energy they brought me.
bro. Oh my God. Think about this for a second, Prentice. Right? This is crazy. Insert, um, hypothetically, insert Aaron. I'm just using his name because I just met him and it's a
Shout out
mutual.
to Aaron Walton.
Right?
Shout out to
Insert
Aaron.
Aaron Walton into that conversation. Right? He's not calling you to dump. He's
My
calling
God.
you. So listen, he's calling you to hear about Toronto. And then at the end of that conversation, on your highest of highs of your experience in Toronto, he just dropped something subtle. Like, you know, that's awesome. Wouldn't it be cool if you could, tour the whole country? Right? What's the plan of getting to Vancouver next? Right now, your mind's going. So now your mind is just being elevated. And I'm just throwing that out there, right? Like your mind's now going from I'm dimming my light completely to take care of you to damn, I'm not doing enough according to Aaron. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like Aaron's now pushing me to get to that next thing. Like, oh, were you in Toronto? You were in Toronto? Awesome. Did you get a commercial book while you were there? Oh no, you didn't? All right, well, this is what you should do next time. Right? Now you think like, okay, next time I go to Toronto or next time I go anywhere, I got to try to get this done, right? Or if because he's a marketing genius, right? He was like, hey, so what was your marketing strategy going to Toronto? You're like, marketing strategy. I mean, shit, like, I got paid and I showed up, right? So it's like, my point is, those conversations go from keeping you the same or bringing you down a little bit to, depending who you're having it with, now you're elevating.
It's a good ass point.
That's how they keep you in your place, bro.
That's a good ass point, and like I'm thinking like it makes me want to be more conscious of what I'm bringing to people,
Or who you're giving yourself to.
based upon what they're honestly giving back in return, and that can be looked at as a form of selfishness. But is it not needed? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit,
Exactly.
don't we have to be selfish at a certain extent in order to elevate? We have to be mindful of the energy we bring in, right? And
You
we
have
have
no
to,
choice.
when some people are bringing us the wrong shit, we ain't gotta be rude about it, but sometimes we gotta time out or maybe did that conversation. Like, I'll get back to you on that shit.
But that's the difference, bro. That's the difference right there.
It's a great ass point, man.
Chief, you was about to say something? I feel like I cut you off.
No. I was just taking some notes. I was taking
What
notes.
are I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, say something.
Well,
Chief,
no,
say something.
shout out to my man Wendell. No, I'm just listening to y'all, and to his point, like that's where we get stuck. I mean, we get into those people who I don't think it's fair to say those people who aren't bringing us up are pulling us down.
Shit, I do.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Like, what else you want to
Still
call it?
love them, still fuck with them daily,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is what
And
it
it's
is.
not to say you're gonna cut them off,
Right.
but again, dude, it's just it's the propensity of the status quo. That's all it is. Because if you change, their life changes. That's what people don't understand, man. Like, this shit is really, really deep. Like, we all heard the crab in the barrel mindset, and nobody wants to feel like they're that crab. But I promise you, man, I promise you, unconsciously we are. If we keep in those same environments. And I'm not saying you don't associate with people. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you better have a solid source of where you're getting your nourishment from.
Yeah, I think in many cases though, like we have found ourselves. Well, I speak for myself. Found myself out of the barrel, making my way, but I'll fucking put my hand back in there for shits and giggles and allow somebody to latch on.
And they
When
were
I could, yeah, right. You know what I'm
and
saying?
the crazy thing I'm thinking about, like this conversation went way deeper than I thought it was going to.
As they always do.
How subtle that reach to pull you back in can be, and how gentle and how delicate that shit can be, and you don't
Yeah.
even realize that you're being roped right back into that barrel because it's being done with a space, like Bell said, with no malice. It may be done from a space of complete trust while they're talking to you about this shit. You know what I mean? They trust you, so they're talking about something they may not have discussed with anybody else. And because of how you're designed and wired, you're naturally compelled to just kind of sink back into that bucket. You know what I mean? You may have your head on the edge of the bucket. You got that far, but you kind of sink back
But
in and don't even, next thing you know, you're surrounded by all that shit again.
the crazy part about that though is it don't always be just one person.
Hell no, it's hella
It's a
people in that
You
bucket.
know why?
it's a
You know
bunch
why?
of people.
You know why? Because you're available. You're available to be pulled. You're available to be pulled. That's it. Like, and I'm speaking for myself. Like, that is all that, like, again, man, shout out to Lo, because I learned boundaries from her. And I would have never learned them if not for her. But that's another case in point of getting outside of your environment. She didn't come up how I came up. So she couldn't understand some of the things I was doing. So she just provided a different perspective. One that I didn't agree with that right away. But then I saw the benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we can't be too accessible, bro. Like, we can't be. Like, think about the people that you hold in high regard and think about what you would call them for.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever that is.
Great.
Think about what you would call them for. Why does everybody feel so comfortable calling you about everything? You know what I mean? Like, that's it right there. Why does everybody feel so comfortable about calling you for everything? even my daughter, who can call me for anything, she exercises what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Discernment.
caution, discernment. All right, she exercises discernment before calling me. And she like she'll tell you. She'll be like, "Do I need to call him for this? Let me think through this. He's probably doing this. He's probably doing that." You know what I'm saying? Like cousin Mike, Chief. I called him the other day because I ain't talked to him a little bit, and he's like, "What's up? What's up? Cause I was gonna call you the other." You know, he talk fast and he country as hell. He's like, I was gonna call you, but I thought you was at work, so I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to bother you. This was 2 weeks ago, but it's like that. Like he holds me in high regard, so he doesn't want to disrupt me and whatever he thinks I'm doing because he knows something I'm doing is important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like for me, I want to hear from him, so I ended up calling him. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying. Why do people feel so comfortable calling you for everything? Like, if they do, I would say that says more about you than them. Because you know how you feel about people you hold in high regard and what you would call them for. Chief, you over there writing a book?
Yeah.
Seems like you did a lot of intake today.
Yeah, he ain't saying shit. He's just writing
I'm
everything
just,
down.
listen, man. I believe I'm entering. I'm not going to call it new. I'm going to say I'm entering what I'm going to define as a challenging phase of my life, and it's solely on me. Not that it always hasn't been, but I'm so much more cognizant of how I have to show up for me now versus, allowing myself to be pulled and be accessible. And I think these are just reminders to like show up for me in ways that I've never had before. So it's almost like affirmations of me stepping outside of my personal boundaries. I guess I set for myself, or not set for myself, but I have there that don't really realize exist. That periphery bubble that I'm afraid to push past. Like, nigga, get out your bubble and ask for help. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be embarrassed about it. And set some more boundaries and stand firm in them.
I see you with the final thought before the final thought.
No. I'm just you asked me kind of what I was writing down. That's kind of there's just like taglines about.
And Chief is nothing wrong. Like if you feel you have to, like having a family meeting. Like, look, guys, this is what I'm about to embark on, right? So I'm gonna need 100% of my effort. I'm not gonna have the space for anything that I've helped you with in the past. That's gonna suck to hear, but I'm sorry, but this is my selfish period, and I think everybody would understand that. Like everybody, and that's family, friends, acquaintances. Everybody wants that for you, but like you said, it's on you. You know,
it was it got to the point where I'm not even. I swear to you, today, I was considering changing my phone number. Like that's how locked in I want to be. I've had the
Maybe
same
you
number.
should do it. Maybe you should do it. You know
or
me.
just
I switch
block
my
some
shit up
people.
every couple years.
I've had the
Maybe
same
you
phone number
should.
for at least 24 years, 25 years.
Oh no, switch that shit up. Hell no. Hell no. 24 years.
It's at least 2000.
Think I'm going on year 2, and this shit is a fucking milestone accomplishment. The same number.
I think I had mine since 2002.
Y'all niggas is tripping. Shit is wild. God damn.
What are we tripping for, man?
But the same number for 20 plus years.
It's only a handful of numbers that I can remember offhand, like without looking at my phone.
Y'all ain't got no problems you have to avoid. All right, shit, it's just me. Okay. All right.
No, man.
I need to do some more self-assessment.
No word. So, fellas, yo, this was again one of them conversations that we didn't anticipate going in the direction it went in, but I'm thankful we had it, and I'm excited to see how we continue to grow, fellas. So, P, I appreciate you for putting this one together, man.
Yeah.
Um, let them know what our joint is, P. Bang. You know what I'm
All right,
saying?
man. Just to remind y'all before we get into our final thought, the mission of All Black Men Need Therapy is to create a safe space for Black men to openly engage in conversations surrounding their mental health. That means we want you to remember that there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying how you feel, regardless of what it's about. You need to try to create a village. If those are people you are unfamiliar with, try it, man. Try something new. Step out into a new space, some new energy. You may find some people who support you in a way that the people around you cannot. So we appreciate all y'all for listening. But please just remember this is to create a safe space for Black men to openly engage in conversations surrounding their mental health. And if you'd like to, you can tap into the All Black Men Need Therapy voice line at 860-410-6160. Again, the ABMNT voice line is 860-410-6160. Biatch. And if you would love to hit us up, I'm sorry about the BS, but if you would love to hit us up on the email, we are all accessible via email. You can hit us in anytime. And yes, we do respond. You can hit us if you want to send us a general email. You can send it to allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. Or you can send it individually to the ballhead brother named chief at abmmt.com, or bell@abmmt.com, or myself, Prentice, that's Prentice at abmnt.com.
I'm glad I
We
had
didn't
to
even
do
do,
this
we
time.
didn't even do our final thought though.
I know we about to, but P, it's good to get you. Hey, if we get him in before $5, don't even matter. P,
It's cool. Let's
hit
go
us
on
with
this
your
final
final
thought.
thought, man.
All right, my final thought is don't be afraid to switch your motivation. Don't be afraid to assess why it's changing. I think I'm in a space right now where I'm gaining a lot of bit more insight on myself by assessing why my motivational factors are changing and what is and is not as important to me anymore. And some of the things that I've discovered through doing this is that I'm growing because some of the things that were motivating me previously are just kind of non-significant to me now or insignificant to me now. And I kind of take pride in the fact that I'm able to identify that rather than hold on to them, and that I'm brave enough and courageous enough to switch up what I consider my motivation. And by things going well and things working out as a result of finding some new motivational resources and sources, I think it's reminding me that it's okay for change. So just remember, there's never wrong with switching up anything in your life if it benefits you in the long run.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Long time ago, somebody had said this to me, and I'm a paraphrase, and it's not gonna be a direct quote, but somebody has said something to the effect of, if you want to give back more, make more money, and then you have more freedom or options to help philanthropic wise, and you'll be paying more taxes that goes back to the underserved ultimately. And I say that to say, you don't know who's waiting for you to have your breakthrough to help them believe it's possible for theirs. So when we go for what we want and what we desire, everybody benefits. They may not be able to see it. You may not be able to see it. But you better believe, if I see Chief doing something, it's going to motivate me to get my shit together. Because that's just how I'm wired, and if he's doing better in any facet of life, health, right, spiritually, financially, if he's doing better, I'm going to naturally step my game up, because I'm going to look at it like, oh, I'm over here bullshitting and Chief's getting to it. So those people are far more important than those who keep congratulating you on everything you've done and, you know, making it okay for you to stay the same. Because the further you go, the more people you can take with you. If you don't go any further, what you see is what you get. So my final thought is keep striving for more because you never know who it will impact and who it can help and who's watching.
Big facts. I wrote a bunch of things down, but one of the, I don't know why this is just the one thing I wrote down that it stand out to me, and it says is I wrote down free love ain't free. And I think, you know, it's okay for us to love on our people, but we have to look at it and understand that sometimes that love is costing us more than we realize.
It's deep.
That was
So
good. But you know, like another, you know, it didn't. What that just made me think with that comment, free love isn't always free. Also, sometimes, I mean, you should be getting paid in return. You know what I'm saying? Like in some type of way. You know what I'm
touche.
saying? Like just because you have this unlimited capacity to give out love, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be compensated as well in some shape or form. You know what I mean? That's what I thought when you said that. But
Yep.
then you said something totally different. So
No,
I
so
like that. That was really good, but I like that. Free
You're
love
both.
ain't always free,
appreciate it.
man.
Yeah, free
It's the
love
law
ain't
of
free, man.
reciprocity, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother topic. I'll leave that for later, but I'll talk to you about that later on. But
We
yeah,
should write
man.
that
So
down.
free love ain't free, man. We Prentice gave y'all all the info on us, man. Appreciate y'all boys, man. We doing
Hey,
what we
man.
do, making an impact. More and more things to come from ABMNT. You want to be an ABMNT sponsor, hit us up. I just learned that you can hit us up on the Buzzsprout and you can donate to the podcast. A couple people they're paying like $5 a month or something. They're giving to us. We appreciate them.
Thank
And we
you.
appreciate y'all. Tap in with us, man. We could use all the support we can get, but there's a bunch of big things coming from ABMNT. So please, please, please stay tuned. Per usual, y'all do us all a favor and hug a black man today
Do it.
and tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.